With over 7,000 miles of rivers and streams to choose from, navigating any one of Aroostook's many waterways is sure to be an unforgettable experience for both kayakers and canoers alike. Save time and hire a Maine guide to show you where to go, provide the equipment you will need, and add a lot of fun and insight to your adventure. With miles of lakes, rivers, and streams, Aroostook County is home to a great variety of sporting fish and has more miles of native brook trout water than you will find in any other state in the country. Here you will find a bounty of peaceful, clean waters where you're more likely to see a moose than another angler. Aroostook County is big with lots of open roads that make it the perfect motorcycle vacation adventure. You will find lots of great scenery, minimal traffic, friendly fellow bikers, and plenty of rest stops along the way. It's no secret that Maine is one of North America's top birding destinations. Aroostook County provides ample open ground, and its well-watered landscape with thousands of lakes, rivers, and streams are prime birding habitats. Northern Maine is fortunate to have maintained much of its natural character over the years, including its wildlife. Large areas of pristine natural habitat have remained undisturbed over time, allowing native creatures to flourish. 2,300 miles of interconnected snowsled trails and nearly 10 feet of snow annually provide a riding opportunity like no other on the East Coast. Aroostook County also has over 1,200 miles of ATV trails from the Allagash to Whittapit Lock, with more being built annually. Our trails provide a great experience for riders of all levels and vehicle types. With more than 115 inches of snowfall a year, usually starting in December, Aroostook County is a perfect setting for both downhill and Nordic trails. With 2 world-class facilities, there are trails for all stages of experience and ages. Aroostook County, Quebec, and New Brunswick share more than a border crossing. They are all blessed with scenic beauty and awesome natural wonder. Take a 2-nation vacation for the ultimate road trip on your next Northern Maine adventure. Aroostook County is bursting with possibilities. For more information, go to visitaroostook.com or call for your free vacation guide. Aroostook County, Maine is known for its great scenic beauty and outstanding recreational opportunities, but it also has an intriguing historical and cultural beginning. Formed in 1839 from parts of land from Penobscot and Washington counties, it is geographically the largest county east of the Mississippi, and in fact it is larger than the states of Rhode Island and Connecticut combined. Aroostook, named from a Native American word meaning beautiful river, is aptly nicknamed the Crown of Maine, partly because of its geographic location, but more because of the breathtaking experiences. Part of its defining history begins with the boundary dispute between Maine and the British colony of New Brunswick, and created what is known as the Aroostook War. This was an undeclared war, and even though militia forces were called up, no actual combat took place. In that same year, Fort Kent was built as an American border outpost during the Aroostook War. The first structure, a blockhouse, was named after then-Governor of Maine Edward Kent and is a National Historical Site. Fort Kent is also the site of America's first mile that marks the beginning of U.S. Route 1, which ends in Key West, Florida. In the end, the Webster-Ashburton Treaty was reached in 1842 and established the permanent boundary lines for Maine and Aroostook County. Fort Kent wasn't the only significant military site in Aroostook County. The Loring Air Force Base, named after Major Charles J. Loring, Jr., started in 1947 as Limestone Army Airfield with a capacity over 100 B-36 Peacemaker strategic bombers. Loring was one of the largest bases in the U.S. Air Force's Strategic Air Command and was eventually closed in 1994 after over 40 years of service. Today, it's the Loring Commerce Business Center and even hosts concerts and national events. Aroostook County's many rivers and streams that power today's active sports and recreational activities started as basic transportation, powering the many logging mills and early communities. Starting with axes and handsaws, massive trees were all harvested by hand and later assisted by horses, which eventually led to more and more mechanized hauling procedures. The Lombard steam log hauler, first used near Eustis, Maine in 1901, was a revolutionary milestone in the logging industry at the turn of the century. You can experience this rich piece of logging history along with other great artifacts at one of the many lumbermen and logging museums located throughout Aroostook County. Another site celebrating Aroostook County's history is the Acadian Village in Van Buren. Here you will experience the Acadian culture and livelihood firsthand as it was in the late 1700s when the area was settled by the Acadians. The village has received a citation as a historic national landmark and is one of the most extensive historical sites in the county. The World Acadian Congress is a major celebration of Acadian culture and history held every 5 years since 1994. More than 300 activities, including more than 100 family reunions, which will be co-hosted by Aroostook County along with other neighboring counties in Canada. There are many museums and historical societies in Aroostook County that are rich in the local culture and history of the area. You can't talk about Aroostook County without mentioning potatoes. The potato is northern Maine's primary agricultural product, and in the 1940s, Maine's potato production was top in the nation. The Bangor and Aroostook Railroad that brought the rail service to Aroostook County played an important role in the potato industry. Potatoes were a stable source of income for the railroad, which helped it through the Great Depression by providing 50% of revenue after World War II. Potatoes were important enough that men were hired to tend to them during shipment. This potato worker's pass entitled him to a trip back to his hometown. Aroostook County even has several special events featuring the special spud. The Maine Potato Blossom Festival in Fort Fairfield is one of the oldest and most established festivals in Maine, founded in 1947. Potato Feast Days in Holton is another annual event created to celebrate Maine's supreme commodity, the potato. Acres of blossoming potatoes and their flowers can be seen during these festivals, along with many events and activities. Aroostook County holds many festivals and events to celebrate the diversity of its settlers. Aroostook County has long been famous for its greatest resource, its people, known for their generous spirit and down-home hospitality. County residents welcome friends and visitors alike with warmth that is not easily found elsewhere. They are proud of their rural heritage and are eager to share their knowledge of and love for the area. No matter where you choose to explore, our landscapes and communities will certainly exceed your expectations.
This is northern Maine. Beyond, the forests stretch to the northwest for more than 100 miles. Broken only by hundreds of clear blue lakes, you can find some of the best fishing in the world. Most people, when they think of Maine, think of these things first of all.
Between 1930 and 1940, there were more than 6,000 farmers devoted to raising potatoes in the county. First by use of hand and horse, and later with mechanized equipment. After many years of working the land, these farmers grew deeply attached to their home.
I don't think I'd be where I am today if I hadn't learned how to work and had that work ethic.
A lot of these Aroostook County children earned their spending money by working in the fields during the harvest time.
It was the life that we knew back then, so it might have been a hard life growing up on the farm, but we didn't know any different, and we was never hungry, and we never wanted for anything.
In 1946, many were asked to leave their farms. That year, 10,000 acres of land in the limestone area became home to hundreds of military personnel and their families. One of the largest and most powerful military bases in the country was about to be built. A new life for the land and those who lived on it was in the making.
When the Army Corps of Engineers came in, Father was informed that the military, the U.S. government, was taking over the property. They made an offer and that they would have to be moved out in a certain date. They were bulldozers, bulldozing land and leveling off and so on while we were still up there. At least 75 farms and households were displaced by Loring on the original purchase. Leaving the property in limestone was very difficult for my father especially. I'm sure that it was hard for everyone else in that area also. I mean, they had homesteaded the land almost the way that Father had. And some of the farmland had been in the family for 2 or 3 generations. It wasn't a happy village, shall we say.
A one-of-a-kind strategic air command base had landed in the heart of the Potato Belt, bringing new people from all over the country who were stationed there. It wouldn't take these strangers long before they too became attached to the limestone area and its people.
My family and I were strangers. We were on board this train that was taking us to our new home at Loring Air Force Base in Aroostook County. We weren't too sure we were going to like this new home we were going to, but it didn't take us long to discover what a wonderful place it is.
When I first arrived, I didn't know where I was at. It was a whole new experience. I'm going to Loring Air Force Base. Where is Loring Air Force Base? Limestone, Maine. Where is Limestone, Maine?
When they got the assignment to Loring, they got an apology along with it for being sent way up here to the frozen north. They were dragged in here, left their heel marks in the dirt being dragged in, but they also had to be dragged out once they'd been here for a while. Didn't want to go.
Loring Air Force Base was established in 1948 during the early years of the Cold War, when the constant threat of nuclear war became part of everyday life in America. The country was engaged in a battle so frightening that ordinary citizens built bomb shelters, and air raid drills were routine for school children.
You never knew when that klaxon was going to go, and when that klaxon sounded, the whole world changed, because you did not know what was going to happen. On the other end, you didn't know if you was going to launch one bomber or one tanker, or you were going to launch the entire fleet. These are things that nobody knew. The world situation dictated what was going to happen. No matter where you was at, the air base froze. everybody stopped. Everybody went to their emergency positions. To see these bombers and tankers struggling to get airborne, it's unbelievable. You sit out there with your heart in your mouth and you're praying to God, please, please, break right, break left. You got the jet blast coming from them. Oh, what a trip. That's what the young airmen used to say, what a trip.
Loring Air Force Base was built as a super base to house long-range bombers capable of carrying and delivering the A-bomb. For well over 40 years, Loring played a key role in assuring the country's safety following World War II. It had the largest capacity for weapons and fuel storage in the country. A monolithic arch roof hangar covering 150,000 square feet and standing 60 feet high was capable of housing 2 huge B-36s at one time. It was one of the most massive hangars in the world, and its runway measured 2 miles in length and 100 yards wide, making it one of the biggest ever constructed. A city within a base, it provided housing for thousands of people. It had a school, a church, a 100-bed hospital, a fire department, a post office, and a credit union.
It's basically a small town, and there aren't too many bases where a military guy can go where the colonel knows your name when he sees you, or asks you how the kids are, is your kid playing ball this year? And the men returned time and time again and would put down Loring as a base of choice because it felt like home. If you had a problem, if you needed help, all you had to do was call Loring Air Force Base. You'd have hundreds of volunteers, no questions asked, and immediate. The response was immediate.
The people of Loring Air Force Base, and what made them different than anywhere else I've been, was integrity, pride. We knew we had a mission. We knew our mission was a deterrent force. We were here to provide that type of support to enjoy the freedom that we have today. And it was a very, very sad day when they closed the mission of Loring Air Force Base, and to see the last B-52 fly over it was part of your life. Part of your life is gone. The
base is gone, and I think people miss that. It's like somebody came down and lifted a town right out of the potato fields and flew away with it.
Because of the base, Limestone's population had expanded from approximately 2,500 to 9,900. After the base closed, more than 8,000 people left the area, which caused many local businesses to fold, numerous housing vacancies, and increased unemployment. Residents are now working hard toward reviving the base as the economic engine that it once was. In the early 1990s, the Loring Development Authority was created to redevelop the base as a commerce center.
It's the core mission: take the buildings, redevelop the property, create jobs, create economic activity.
The Loring Development Authority has several large businesses on site. A private aviation company coexists with federal and state government offices, plus a mix of other small businesses. Overall, the former base generates an estimated $60 million for the Maine economy.
I think there's a general recognition that the business climate in Aroostook County depends on the growth that has taken place here at Loring. Without that, things would be worse off all around. Maine people and Aroostook County people have a great reputation for hard work and good work, and it would not have been as successful as it has been if it hadn't been for the local people.
There are still over 12,000 acres of farmland in Limestone, and with a mix of modern technology and business, this resilient, flexible community continues to adapt. At the same time, a welcoming hometown atmosphere remains, which could explain why so many former Air Force personnel chose to return to the area for retirement.
How people in Aroostook live, how they open their hearts and soul to you, you can't beat it.
It's home to me. And I'm from great big New York City.
The variety of experiences awaiting you and your family in the warmth of a quintessential small town in northern Maine is what Houlton is all about. Here, you will discover artful boutiques and unique shopping opportunities. Explore an art gallery featuring local artists and area craftsmen that showcase the county's vast and diverse creative talent. The History Museum is a great place to look back in time and uncover the roots and local culture of this unique area that was founded in 1807 by Joseph Houlton. The open-air farmers market on Saturdays is a bounty of freshly grown produce and vegetables from area farmers that's always full of weekly surprises. While you are here, take time to treat yourself to some homemade breads and pastries. Upscale restaurants, diners, and lunch carts showcase local produce and products, offering flavors and dining experiences that exemplify the Houlton way of life. Indulge yourself with an ice cream from the local dairy bar, where the ice cream is made every week right in Houlton. Take in the riverfront park and scenic trail walk along the picturesque river's edge. The lake makes a great backdrop to work on your tee shot at the Houlton Country Club. If your tastes steer you towards a more exhilarating experience, consider touring all or some of the over 2,300 miles of ATV trails dissecting the beautiful countryside. For the water enthusiasts, the area lakes and rivers provide an abundance of water sport opportunities. For the sportsmen, these same waterways provide a bounty of fishing possibilities. Houlton accommodations choices range from the traditional motel rooms to an in-town RV and camping park, and even rental cabins right on the lake. Time your visit around one of the many fairs and festivals that take place throughout the year. In the summer months, McGill's Community Band offers free concerts in the park every Thursday. Houlton is perfectly positioned in northern Maine, right on the Canadian border, where you can enjoy small-town amenities and friendly service. Getting to your destination is part of the vacation, as scenic byways provide a feast for the senses as you travel. By staying in Houlton, you can expand your vacation experience with a variety of annual events and activities, all within a day's round-trip drive. Get wet and wild with a whitewater rafting trip. Tour the world's largest 40-mile long-scale model of the solar system. Pack a picnic basket and bring your hiking shoes to spend the day and enjoy nature's bounty at one of the area's state parks. Baxter State Park is over 200,000 acres of wilderness and public forest, and it's home to Mount Katan, the highest mountain in Maine. Rent kayak or canoes and encounter wildlife up close and personal in the Allagash Wilderness Waterway. A popular event for the photo enthusiast is the Crown of Maine Balloon Festival, with its feast of visual color and texture. For hikers, the International Appalachian Trail runs right through Houlton. Have your passports ready to experience the world's largest covered bridge in Heartland, Canada, or visit nearby King's Landing Historical Village. Don't forget to make time for all of the hidden shops and antique stores you will come across in your travels. Marking the end of summer, Houlton's foliage comes alive with a burst of color as the leaves turn and exemplify New England in the fall. No matter what season you decide to arrive, there is always something exciting to see and experience. Your journey starts here in Houlton, Maine, the perfect value destination to launch your next vacation experience.
I was a Maine potato boy, yes. I don't remember much about it. There was a photo process that we went through, and I didn't even know what they were doing at the time, type of thing, you know, but I dressed up as a country boy and had red hair and freckles.
Is that how you remember yourself?
Yes, yeah, and young. Yeah. My dad was a senator in the Maine Senate, George P. Finland, and he was the guy that developed the bill for the potato tax. They needed a way to advertise Maine potatoes. They just weren't advertising them. So he developed a way to tax the farmers. I think it was 1 cent a barrel of potatoes, and that was the bill that he put through. It did get passed. The farmers were very unhappy about it, didn't like George Finland anymore. So Dad got the fund to advertise Maine potatoes. So one of the first things that the company did, New York company, was come up to Maine and see what was going on and so forth. And while they were here, they took pictures of, it ended up being me, redheaded and freckled. We went into a restaurant in New Sweden, and they had one of these potato boys, full-size type of thing, probably 4 feet high. My wife says, "That's you." I said, "Oh, it can't be." She says, "Sure it is, look at the ears." Redheaded and freckled.